We're live.
All right. Love is a treacherous thing as far as I'm concerned because, and when I say treacherous, what I mean is the way I feel I've been domesticated, just growing up, and later I'll give you like where I think I am right now. But I think love is a treacherous thing because if it's fused with a man's ego and if it's infused with a woman's insatiability, I always kind of think of something that I wrote in one of my journals not so long ago. As a matter of fact, it was on my anniversary where I woke up, grabbed a pen, and literally believed that if I was in the garden that day and my woman called me a pussy for not like taking the fruit,
Right.
I would have just straight up said, in my mind,
I like the clarification.
I'm gonna find every way to deceive like my creator, like literally just like do whatever I got to do to please this woman, right? But then I realized it wasn't so much about love of that other person as much as love of my own ego. And that could be very treacherous. That could be very destructive.
So do you think that right now you're referencing the idea of love or the feelings of love? Is there a separation between ideas and feelings?
That's a really good question because the idea of love was connected to the way I've been domesticated to understand what love was about.
Right.
Now, my feeling of love,
Yeah,
in terms of my experience,
that's the juiciness. Let's hear it.
In terms of my experience, has nothing to do with ownership, has nothing to do with possession, has nothing to do with ego, has nothing to do with any preconceived thought of what happens naturally, like when you're children. Because I remember distinctly the feelings of love, the greatest feelings of love that I've had that is now re-entering my life is like literally like being in the sandbox.
Wow.
Literally,
Yeah.
And just, okay, I'm going to build this, I'm going to build that. I see this kid come across and they're having a great time too in the same sandbox and they accidentally step on what I'm making. Not to cause me any pain or anything. It's just they're so into what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's no harm, no foul. And at first I can kind of feel this jump start because what I created was.
So there's an attachment.
All infused, and there was an attachment. But the cool thing about it is, like, I can see then that as soon as I created that, and there was this so-called attachment because of my passion, and it was perceivably destroyed. As a child, I remember I would just go to do something else, either rebuild it or jump in the game and play with what was going by me, like just kind of letting things flow the way they are.
Right.
And it's so cool because it's like when something is so-called destroyed, really nothing is destroyed. And that's the lesson I know now as a 47-year-old man is there's nothing lost in the universe. That creation is still there.
Absolutely.
It's still there.
Absolutely.
My idea of what that should look like is the only illusion.
Right. Right.
And to me, that's I can't say a full expression of love, but that's definitely experiencing love. The way I think it was designed to be. Right now, where I am in my life right now, applying that little story of what we're talking about.
So you're back in the sandbox, and you're letting yourself be okay with the creation changing form.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Absolutely. That's a really good way to put it.
Okay. So are you? What are other ways you would say that you express the feelings of love? Like where you can do it without any like trepidations from the ego, nothing coming up saying...
That's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good question. I think reflection. I think honest reflection. I think being silent,
nice.
Quieting my mind, making sure that there's an empty space where I'm not thinking about what someone's like expressing to me. And if something is presented to me, just kind of allow myself to reflect back where that person is, like with no judgment. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. I don't really have a lot of English words to express what I'm feeling right now, but I know what I'm feeling right now as I'm saying that.
Yeah, and that's the really cool thing about love is that a lot of times we attach these ideas and words, but it is a feeling. So that's kind of what I'm trying to mine out from people is
Sure.
like how do those feelings look, and in what ways do they manifest in our life? And I think yours was just like a beautiful expression.
It's a feeling, and it's a real power.
Yeah.
It's a real pure power, and I think if I were to bring my mind into this at all, it would just be to I'm just going to use kind of this cliche of like minding my own business, and I'm making my business understanding and experiencing and reflecting on the real power of love as it was intended to be.
Nice. Great. Well, do you have any lasting words or anything you want to say to anybody?
No, that's it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your
Sure.
time and your life.
Sure.